It's the second half of the season for the ADAC GT4 Germany. Hello everybody, welcome along to the Lausitzring. This might be the fifth season of ADAC GT4 Germany, but it's only the second time that we visited the Lausitzring. The last time was back in 2020. It was pitch dark when both of those races took place. It was very late in the day. Since then, the championship has gone from strength to strength. Last time we saw the ADAC GT4 Germany, it was in the wind and the rain at the Nürburgring. Well, it couldn't be any more different here, could it? An air temperature of 32.4 degrees centigrade at the Lausitzring. It is boiling hot, and it was in the glorious sunshine this morning that the 2020 champion Nicola Madsen put that car there, the DEKRA Motorsport Porsche, on pole position for this, which will be race 7 of this 12-race season. The championship is very much alive and kicking. 2 weeks ago, in the wind and the rain at the Nürburgring, we saw Mike David Ortmann and Hugo Sasser jump from 4th in the points championship to the lead. We saw Simon Conor Prim and Jan-Philipp Springhob jump from 5th to 2nd in the championship, and we saw Denis Bulatov drop from 1st to 3rd in the championship. And Denis Bulatov, who has been driving with Marcel Lenez this season, and Marcel Lenez is out now for the rest of the season due to health reasons. He had an operation in the spring and is still in pain from it, so he's going to require another operation. So we send our very, very best wishes to Marcel Lenez. We say get well soon. We're really looking forward to seeing you back on the grid in the BCMC Motorsport powered by Eastside Mercedes. So taking his place for the rest of the season will be Mark Di Fulgentio, and he did a really good job in practice as well, and in qualifying it 5th on the grid. Our championship leaders, though, Mike David Ortmann and Hugo Sasser, start in 3rd place. It was Hugo Sasser who did the qualifying this morning. Rodrigo Almeida for BWT Motorsport, who had a weekend to forget at the Nürburgring, has had his best qualifying session in a very long time, qualifying 4th on the grid, looking to improve on his 8th place, which is his best finish of the season so far. And there is the aforementioned Mark Di Fulgentio in the BCMC Motorsport powered by Eastside Mercedes, who's sharing along with Denis Bulatov. One driver we didn't mention is the driver who starts alongside Nicola Madsen on the front row, and that is Daniel Gregor, something of a sensation this year, racing for Avia WNS Motorsport. Daniel Gregor, he became the new Porsche Sport Cup Endurance Champion last week. He is the man that everybody is watching, and this season we have seen him go from strength to strength, and he has shown that once again, qualifying 2nd on the grid. There is a face that has been doing the rounds for a few years now. David Jahn, a very, very experienced pilot in the Avia WNS Motorsport, something very similar to the car that's starting on the outside front row. And David Jahn and Yanis Fitcher are sharing the driving duties in the number 31 car. And a great qualifying session for Allied Racing for Christian Koch and Tom Kiefer. The last time the GT4 Germany was here in 2020, it was the boss of Allied Racing who took a win, Jan Kaspelik, along with our pole sitter, Nicola Madsen, in the Allied Racing Porsche. So here we are, 3 years on, and still very much at the front, although now Jan Kaspelik does the duties in the team, running the Allied Racing team rather than the driving, and he is a mega talent spotter. If a driver races for Allied Racing, you know they are good, because Jan Kaspelik has a skill for spotting talent and for nurturing it, and there are many drivers coming through the ranks as a result of his tutoring. So as you can see, the cars are on the grid, and the grid has been cleared of all personnel. There is that silence at the moment before the cars get rolling, and they will start on their formation lap. But there is the points championship. It's a 9-point lead. Hugo Sasser and Mike David Ortmann over Simon Conor Prim and Jan-Philipp Springhob. Denis Bulatov and Marcel Lenez are just 12 points clear in 3rd place. So the championship is all to play for. There are 25 points for a race win in the ADAC ADAC GT4 Germany. So as you can see, the cars are on their formation lap, and they are using this time now to get the heat into the tyres and into the brakes. We're at the Lausitzring. It's a circuit that is 3.478 kilometres around. That's about 2.16 miles. 12 turns, 7 to the left and 5 to the right. The cars are running in an anti-clockwise direction, and it is a tricky old circuit using part of the tri-oval here at the Lausitzring. It's Nicola Madsen who starts on pole position for Motorsport, with Daniel Gregor alongside championship leader Hugo Sassa and Rodrigo Almeida on row 2 of the grid. Row 3, Mark Di Fulgentio, welcome back to him, and Jan Philipp Springhoff, he'll be very quick from there. And all Porsche, row 4, David Jan and Christian Koch. On row 5, Alex Hartvig and Max Janssen for Volkenhorst Motorsport. Good qualifying from him. And they have Maxime Ooston and Sami Matitrogen, all BMWs, behind on row 6. Row 7, Tim Reiter and Emil Yedrum. There's another driver duo with Alexander Kohn, who had a bad weekend at Nürburgring. Stefan Bastanchev and Mo Ritson line up on row 8 of the grid, and on row 9, Max Kronberg and Eric Scalvini. And all Porsche, row 9, and all Mercedes, row 10. Patrick Steinmetz has Dominic Schack for company. And on row 11 of the grid is Leon Erger and Fabian Volvend, and all Aston Martin, row 11. Row 12, Joachim Bolting and Marat Kyrov for Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport. And on the 13th row, Robin Falkenbach and Nicholas Pirtolati, another of the Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport BMWs. Bringing up the rear, Damon Sazishin for Pro Sport Racing in the Aston Martin. He is in the trophy category, fighting for points. Bit of work to do there from the back of the pack. So on the formation lap, the car's now heading up towards turn 9 and turn 10. They're starting to grid up in the side-by-side formation, and very soon we will be getting ready for 1 hour of racing, a timed race, 60 minutes plus 1 lap. Just to remind you, there is a mandatory pit stop and driver change that needs to take place 25 minutes into the race. There will be a pit window that will open for 10 minutes. It will close 35 minutes into the race, and during that window, every car needs to come in for a mandatory stop and a driver change. There is a minimum pit stop time. We'll tell you more about that as the race progresses, but at the moment, it's Nicola Madsen who leads the cars out of turn 12 and out on to the start-finish line. This is the second half of the ADAC GT4 Germany, and we are go. Nicola Madsen stepping off that pole position, keeping on Daniel Gregor coming towards the really tight turn 1. Gregor taking a very wide line into the turn 1. Madsen has the line, but Gregor's coming back round the outside. He's got 2 wheels onto the dirt. Great start from Rodrigo Almeida into 3rd place as well. And it looks like David Jan also having made a great start there. Hugo Sasso dropping back. The rest of the cars fighting through. There's a bit of dirt into the air as some of the cars kick up with some dirt in the grass, but now heading out onto the tri-oval. A little short, sharp burst of power, and now Nicola Madsen back into the lead. Daniel Gregor into 2nd place. So a lot of chopping and changing early on, but a great start from Rodrigo Almeida. Keep an eye on Mark Di Fulgentio in the Mercedes trying to move forward. Hugo Sassa looks to be going in the wrong direction at the moment. The Pro Sport Aston Martin getting hung out to dry. 2 wheels onto the dirt. He holds it all together. And there are cars that are falling through the dust. It looks like they've all survived. But Hugo Sassa, championship leader, going backwards through the pack. It looks like everybody has survived, though. That's the main thing. So still the fight is going on. Stefan Bastanchev goes straight on in the background. Also a Mercedes in there as well. So Bastanchev gets to keep it going, but there's a car stranded in the gravel trap. Now that looks to me like the number 8. That is Patrick Steinmetz, number 84. So the CV Performance Mercedes in the gravel. Inevitably, that is a safety car. Cannot leave that there. So really lively opening lap. Safety car is out. Nicola Madsen, he's retaken the lead, but Daniel Gregor, how audacious is he? And in the background, you can see Bastanchev and Patrick Steinmetz going off into the gravel trap. Now, Bastanchev keeps it going. He's able to rejoin, but he's got a lot of work to do from a long way back. So, safety car is out. Nicola Madsen, Daniel Gregor, Rodrigo Almeida, his best start of the season by a mile after a dreadful time at the Nürburgring 2 weeks ago. He is up into 3rd place. Patrick Steinmetz exits the car. He is sharing with Ferdinand Winter, so he will not be taking any more part in this race, and Ferdinand Winter will not be getting a drive today. today. Their best result of the season so far have been a 6th place. They're going to have to brush themselves off and do it all again tomorrow. So they'll get that car out of the gravel trap, get it back to the garage. We'll hopefully see what happened to that, but look at this, into turn 1. What a scramble for positions this was. Look at Daniel Gregor. He almost made it. He got around the outside. I think he was in the lead for a while, but Nicola Moller-Madsen came back. Now further back, of course, in the pack, you get the damage. You get these kind of incidents that happen where the cars are bouncing off each other. You can see them coming over the bump. That is such a tight corner into turn 1, and it's downhill as well. So the cars fighting to get through there and to keep it on the track as well. Now, this is the view from Jan-Philipp Springhoff. He was starting towards the front. That was on the 3rd row. And you can see, coming into turn 1, a lot of bravery as they come under heavy braking, a lot of nudging going on. You can see Hugo Sasa on the left-hand side as well, getting relegated further down the order. So Sasa is down in 10th place, championship leader. Disastrous opening lap for him. The Pro Sport team have really not been too happy. Certainly Christopher Esser, who's the boss of Pro Sport, has been quite vocal about the BOP, feeling as though the Aston Martins are being disadvantaged, and they seem to have struggled for pace here at the Lausitzring so far this weekend. Looking at the Stefan Bostanciev accident at the back with Patrick Steinmetz, and we can see them just getting spat off into the gravel. Bostanciev is into the pits, so it's looking like his afternoon may well be over. Of course, Stefan Bostanciev, who shares once again with Pavel Lefterov, well, he's rejoining. He's going to hopefully stay on the lead lap and rejoin at the back of the queue. As you can see, the incident has been reported to the stewards that we saw between Bostanciev and Patrick Steinmetz, and well, it looks like neither of those cars are going to be scoring points this afternoon. It is Nicola Moller-Madsen. He had to fight for it, didn't he? He's leading the way behind the safety car at the moment. Daniel Gregor, Rodrigo Almeida. Now, David Yarn, what a start from him. He started 7th on the grid, worked his way up. David Yarn, along with Janis Fitcher, very much pre-season favourites in this championship. An experienced duo of drivers as well. Jan-Philipp Springhoff in 5th place in the number 85 car. Mark Di Fulgentio, right, he raced in the ADAC GT4 last year, but he's come into that seat to replace Marcel Lanez. So this is his return this year, doing a great job there. Christian Koch in the Trophy Championship, up in 7th place for Allied Racing. He's got the junior from Allied Racing behind him, Alex Hartvig, another hugely talented driver. Max Osten in 9th place. And then Hugo Sasa all the way down in 10th place, and it's going to feel like a long afternoon for him. Going to need to try and work his way back up there. He, along with his co-driver, Mike David Ortman. Car 9 has been instructed to fall back behind car 19, so that's Joachim Bolting, who is falling back behind Leon Erger. Leon Erger, along with co-pilot Raphael Renhofer, both racing for Pro Sport, made a fantastic debut at the Nürburgring 2 weeks ago. Really, really impressive. 2 drivers that have come through the world of sim racing, and boy, are they in at the deep end here, but doing a great job. Have been at fighting for points pretty well ever since they set wheel on the track. Currently in 21st place at the moment, though. So, cars still running behind the safety car. We haven't had any indication as to when the safety car will be in, but I expect it will be soon. The rest of the cars just weaving to keep the heat into the tyres, despite the fact that the temperature is up to 32.8 degrees and the track is up to 43 degrees centigrade. We need to keep the heat in the tyres. You can see now notification as we ride on board with the BMW driver that the safety car is in on this lap. So in a few moments, Nicola Moller-Madsen, the 2020 champion in ADAC GT4, will fall back, and it will be his job to lead the field across the line. What he'll want to do is to catch Daniel Gregor napping. Now, Daniel Gregor has been something of a sensation. It's only a matter of time before he gets onto the top step of the podium. He has already impressed. He got a second in the last race at the Nürburgring a couple of weeks ago, and he is so eager. Bastancio back into the pits, and that is looking terminal. Spoke to him yesterday. He was very frustrated. Doesn't feel as though that they're getting a setup that is working on that car, and this retirement is not going to help him at all. Right, here we go. It is Nicola Møller-Madsen who now backs the pack up. He has done this a fair few times in his racing career, and he knows what to do. Daniel Gregor, no weaving from him. He is ready to anticipate where Nicola Møller-Madsen goes. The two cars have broken away a little bit from Rodrigo Almeida. It's Nicola Møller-Madsen's decision when to hit the accelerator. He does that up into 11 and 12. Out onto the pit straight they come to receive the green flag. So here comes Nicola Møller-Madsen, the audacious Daniel Gregor behind. Keep an eye on David Jan, weaving to try and get heat into the tyres, as indeed is the case with Jan-Philipp Springop. Into turn one they come, so Møller-Madsen not challenged, but Rodrigo Almeida is being challenged. David Jan going very wide, taking to the dirt slightly, squeezing in front. Almeida is relegated a position now into the clutches of Jan-Philipp Springop. So David Jan, man on a mission. He is going to be moving forwards in this race. Also Marc Di Fulgentio in the big Mercedes getting stuck in there as well. This is the view from Jan-Philipp Springop as he lines up Rodrigo Almeida in the BWT Mucke. It's Mercedes versus Mercedes. There is David Jan in front of them. So Jan now will be looking to reel in Daniel Gregor ahead of him. It is Nicola Møller-Madsen who leads the way in this race at the moment. Daniel Gregor looking to try and challenge him for that position. Gregor, who has been so rapid, the rest of the cars coming through, but a bit of a gap opening now between second and third place. Now into the corner we come, fighting up and down the battle. You see the number 24 car. It's Eric Scalvini who returns to this series, having had a weekend off, and he is fighting with Mo Ritson in the BMW, the all-British duo, along with Tom Wood in the pack there, fighting for the position. A little bit further back, but here comes our race leader, first and second, now breaking clear. Rodrigo Almeida hasn't given up or trying to challenge David Jan back again. Further fighting, further back, Jan-Philipp Springop, Marc Di Fulgentio. So also further back there, you can see Max Janssen also looking to the inside. Hugo Sasser, his day seems to be going from bad to worse, dropping now down into 11th place. So really struggling for pace in that Aston Martin. Of course, he's also carrying a 15-kilo success ballast as a result of the win at the Nürburgring last time out. But that 15 kilos clearly is affecting him, and really struggling for pace, going backwards through the pack. This is the view from on board with Jan-Philipp Springop in the CV Performance Group Mercedes. And that was that move from David Jan past Rodrigo Almeida, and really slick move there. Almeida, by far the less experienced of the two, doing well just to hold it all together up there. Now you can see other position changes. Hartvig is moving forwards as well, so Christian Koch is going a little bit backwards. The number 26 car, he's in the Trophy Championship, so perhaps it's not the battle that he wants to fight with the cars that are around him. He just needs to come home, get as many points as possible. But David Jan coming under pressure from Rodrigo Almeida. That's really impressive stuff, but keep an eye on Marc Di Fulgentio in there as well. So here we come out of the turn 12 onto the tri-oval, the big, long, flat-out corner into the flat-out straight. There is the other of the BWT Mucke Motorsport Mercedes. They're the number 18 car with Emil Yedrum at the wheel in the background as well. But the one we are most focused on is the number 8 of Rodrigo Almeida. There's our race leader, Nicola Møller-Madsen, 0.6 of a second ahead of Daniel Gregor. And then this fight here, David Jan, Rodrigo Almeida looking like he could be in a position to challenge for that position back again. So it is the Finn Zulauf and Daniel Gregor car that also has a success penalty, and that is 10 kilos. Now, Almeida to the inside of David Jan, into the corner they come. A gap on the inside, a dive bomb, and very, very impressive stuff from Rodrigo Almeida. The experienced David Jan getting caught out, and now Jan-Philipp Springop also. He's lining up the car in front of him with a view to try to steal the position back. In the background, Hugo Sasser still juggling with handling. You saw him going wide out of the corner. A lot of fighting going on. Marc Di Fulgentio side by side with another car. So the fighting up and down the pack. This is such a level playing field here. There was less than a second between the top 21 in qualifying. As we look again from Jan-Philipp Springov's perspective, that was Almeida getting back to the inside of David Yarn. I have to say, you have to get up pretty early in the morning to get one on David Yarn, and that's exactly what Almeida's done. Really, really good stuff. Also, a replay there of Hugo Sassa going very wide out of the corner. He's up to 10th place again now, so he's still fighting back. But across the line we come. There's Nicola Molomadze, Daniel Gregor, the very impressive Rodrigo Almeida. So two of the young chargers in second and third place. And they are in between two veterans, Nicola Molomadze at the front and David Yarn in fourth. And then that man there, Jan-Philipp Springov, with Max Osten behind him in sixth place, Alex Hartvig. Do not discount Alex Hartvig from a podium in this. The number 22 Allied Racing driver hasn't had the best of luck at the start of the season, but pushing forwards now, looking very racy indeed. On board with Mex Janssen in ninth place. And he can see Mark Di Fulgentio ahead of him in the Mercedes. Volkenhorst Motorsport, who have joined ADAC GT4 Germany this year. Great addition to have this legendary team here right now. 54 moving to the inside, and that is a challenger position from Maxime Osten, the driver that came from the BMW M2 Cup. Also there's Sami Matti Trogan as well. So the BMWs moving forward. Jan-Philipp Springov, we're on board with him in the number 85 car. So he is being pressured by the 54 car. Max Osten currently in sixth place, Springov in fifth. But how long will it be before Max Osten can make a move past him? He had a great start to the season, has had a couple of races where it hasn't gone his way, but now charging back, he is fearless. Max Osten to the inside, under braking into turn one. And that is Jan-Philipp Springov, who's going to have to give up that position because I think Osten has made it stick. Yes, he has. He moves across, slams the door. Now Alex Hartvig also there as well, lining up to take a pop at that car. The number 85 car is carrying 5 kilograms of success ballast as a result of a third place last time out at the Nürburgring. And I'm wondering whether that is having a bit of an effect as well. Surely it must be. So some great camera angles here as we see the cars fighting for those positions. Nicola Molomadze leading the way. Now there's a challenge further back. Mo Ritson, he's on the outside, he's coming under pressure and he's getting relegated as well. So Mo Ritson, who's very much enjoying his time in the ADAC GT4 Germany. He won't be enjoying this though, because under a lot of pressure from the cars around him, just trying to find a setup on that BMW that works, sharing with Tom Wood, who has more experience in this series, but currently fighting for the last of the points positions. Now looking to the outside of the Allied Racing Porsche in front of him of Christian Koch. Christian Koch, though, holding on to that position. Sami Matti Trogan there as well. So they're fighting for points, remains up and down the grid. Now, the incident between 22 and 54, no further action. So that's Alex Hartvig and also Max Osten. We saw them getting close together early on, but a driver visiting the penalty box, is he? No, he's just coming into the pits. I think that's Robin Falkenbach, who looks like he's in trouble. Thought for a minute he was visiting the penalty box, but no, he's coming into the pits slowly. So the Toyota Supra, issues there for the number 12 car, and it has not been a great weekend for them so far. Robin Falkenbach qualifying a long way back on the grid, and now looks like he's retiring the car. We're still 9 minutes away, or 8.5 minutes away from the pit window opening. That's Mo Ritson once again getting it wrong under braking. Well, he keeps it pointing in the right direction, but struggling to hold on to that car. It's Eric Scalvini who's with him as well. Scalvini trying to find a route past Max Kronberg in the number 30 car, and Christian Koch sailing through. Koch having a great race, has had a good qualifying session, finds his way past Mo Ritson, and the Porsche behind him as well, with Scalvini at the wheel, putting up the battle. But it looks like Scalvini might have a problem. The car is slowing, so Scalvini, that bit of contact. Now, whether he's just backed out of it or whether he has a problem, the Wimmerwerk Porsche, is he back up to speed? Has he got a flat tyre? That is the question. Well, He's certainly struggling for pace, and I'm wondering whether we're going to see him peeling off into the pits. The incident between 15 and 24 under investigation. So Mo Ritson and Eric Scalvini, we saw them make contact with each other. Now, has Scalvini got a problem? Certainly, car 12 has a problem. Robin Falkenbach out of the race. You saw him out of the car. And that means that Cedric Pirro is not going to get a drive in the number 12 car this afternoon. So, Nicola Moller-Madsen leading the way. We're looking at the number 20 of Dominic Schack. He's currently in 20th place. Behind him, Matav Kairov. Ahead of him is Joachim Bolting. This is such an equal playing field that these cars are racing on. Every position, they're having to work so hard for it. But Nicola Moller-Madsen, he's just holding on to that lead. Daniel Gregor not letting him get away. Now, David Yarn coming under pressure from Max Osten. The BMW looks like it's coming on as this race progresses. He moves to the inside, and then it's the outside. Still David Yarn at the moment, but he had a lot of pace at the beginning of this race. He made a great start, but now it looks like he is struggling to hold on to that position. Max Osten and Jan-Philipp Springhob as well. So Jan currently in 4th place. And that is Max Osten behind him. This is the view on board with Mex Janssen looking up ahead at Martin Fulgentio and Alex Hartvig getting together. Janssen makes the most of that, comes sailing through on the inside of both of them. So Hartvig and Fulgentio getting together. Now Jan once again under pressure from Max Osten. Now Max Osten wanted to get past the Porsche in front of him, but he needs to do it without letting the Mercedes behind through. And you can see that Jan-Philipp Springhob is poised and ready for action. Mex Janssen in the number 34 car is very rapid as well, waiting to jump if he gets an opportunity. Those cars running together in that position, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, and I think that is Scalvini into the pits. So Eric Scalvini, looks like there was damage as a result of that collision, and it looks like he is done for the day, and that was with Mo Ritson. Now, we're having a look at a replay here. That was David Yarn into the corner, and that is Max Osten trying to squeeze through. David Yarn shutting the door. Jan-Philipp Springhob trying to take advantage as well. And you can see the Yarn went wide out onto the dirt. A number of other cars as well. It was Alex Hartvig going out wide in the background as well. So picking up the dirt as they go wide. And Hartvig did not come out of that well, losing positions as a result. Nicola Moller-Madsen leads them across the line. We are 5 minutes away from the pit window open. Now, Nicola Moller-Madsen, who shares driving duties with Ivan Ekelschik. Ekelschik, who is not as experienced as Nicola Moller-Madsen, so we're expecting Moller-Madsen to stay out as long as possible into the pit window. Not expecting him in until very late on in that pit window. So there's the 54 car coming through. Max Osten in 4th place. Behind him is David Yarn, having lost that position to Max Osten. Now, what can Max Osten do about Rodrigo Almeida? He's currently 4.9 seconds back from him, so he's got a bit of work to do to catch up and make it a podium position. But Rodrigo Almeida is the fastest man on the track. He has been lapping quicker than anybody else at 128.915, and that was set on lap 8, so 4 laps ago. On board with Jan-Philipp Springhob in 6th place, and he now eyeing the back of David Yarn and looking to steal away 5th place from him. You can see the dust rising in the air. The drivers using every part of the track, and of course when you go out wide, you don't only get the dirt on your tyres, you drag a load of dirt back onto the track for everybody else who's following you. So, how are we doing? 38 and 3/4 minutes remaining, and it is Moller-Madsen from Gregor. You can see them coming through your picture, but this fight for 4th place, Rodrigo Almeida in 3rd, and this fight from 4th, you know this could get explosive at any moment. There's the 1, 2, 3. Rodrigo Almeida homing in on Daniel Gregor, 2 of the chargers in this. Now, Max Osten has broken clear. David Yarn coming under pressure on board with Mex Janssen into turn 1. It is a steep drop down and a sharp left-hander as well. A really tricky corner, but it is the best overtaking opportunity on the track. And that's exactly what car 18 with Emil Yedrum at the wheel is trying to do. As car 18 in 17th place. continues to push his way forward. Emil Yedrum, 16th place. Around him, that is Fabian Volvend, who is in the number 13 car. So Yedrum has found a route past Fabian Volvend in the all-female team. Here comes Nicola Molomadzin, Daniel Gregor, Rodrigo Almeida. Then a gap back to Max Osten. The gap between Osten and Almeida, 5.028 seconds. So Osten trying hard to close in, and now coming back, Alex Hartvig fighting with Sami Matti Trogan. Car 5, in fact, he's fighting with Tim Reiter, so he's further back. So Tim Reiter having found the route past Hartvig during that moment earlier on. So Hartvig working his way back up through the pack. It's been a lively race for him. Mo Ritson in 13th place. He's settled down a bit after the early collision, but a penalty lap has been awarded to Mark Di Fulgentio for causing a collision. So Mark Di Fulgentio, who is in 8th place, is going to have to visit the penalty box. It's a 200-meter box that he will have to drive through at no more than 50 kilometers an hour, and that will drop him down the order. David Yarn also dropping back through the order, and it looks to me as though David Yarn might be having a problem because he is getting mugged right, left and centre. The Porsche is clearly struggling. Max Janssen in car 34 has found a route past and is now up with Jan-Philipp Springop in that 5th place. So that is Springop in the Mercedes ahead of him, but Max Janssen, those BMWs have been looking really quick on the race place. Taking a little look on the inside, there's Mark Di Fulgentio in the background, but he will have to visit the penalty boxes on the exit of turn 5, and that will be the equivalent to losing him something in the region of 5 seconds. So for causing a collision, it's car 4 that visits the penalty lap. We're riding on board a replay with Max Janssen. Looking back at him, you can see him fighting the wheel under the heavy braking into turn 1. Downhill we go, and that is Springop on his outside. And now finding the route past Max Osten and Max Janssen. And ahead of them is Jan-Philipp Springop. Great stuff. So the BMW sandwich with Jan-Philipp Springop in the middle. And that is Max Janssen that we're looking at there, fighting to get past Jan-Philipp Springop. To out to complete another lap along the pit straight. Now, Janssen getting close to the Mercedes, picking up a slipstream in towards turn 1. Takes a look to the outside, but Springop has the better line coming into the corner. In the background is Di Fulgentio. Hugo Sassa has made it back up into 8th place after that really difficult opening section of the race. Pit window will be opening in about 8 seconds. And that will be when the drivers will be able to come into the pits. The 10-minute window will remain open. There is a 95-second minimum pit stop time from pit entry to pit exit, so every car needs to go equal or above to 95 seconds from pit entry to pit exit, as we look at Max Kronberg in 17th place in the number 30 car. So the strategy will be when to bring the car in. Now the team will want to potentially extend the stint for the driver who's perceived to be fastest, or to the driver who's out in open track. Anyone who's in traffic, they may want to bring them in early into the pits and get them changed and get them out into empty track. Looking at car 13 and the flashing of the lights of Fabian Volvend as she tries to make a progress through into 10th place at the moment. Fabian Volvend 18th place, I beg your pardon, a long way back. And Max Kronberg there as well. Here comes our race leader, Nicola Molomadzin, across the line. And then it's 2nd place, Daniel Gregor, now looking under pressure from Rodrigo Almeida. Such a good drive from the Mercedes young driver, having his best weekend so far. The driver from Mozambique, who is chasing after the number 75 car. Daniel Gregor has been very much making the headlines, getting better and better with every event, but now coming under pressure, and maybe that 10-kilo success ballast that is being carried in the 75 car is having some effect. You can see a number of cars into the pits for their mandatory stop. Jan-Philipp Springop and Hugo Sassa both into the pits, but now the challenge for 2nd place. Rodrigo Almeida putting the heat onto Daniel Gregor. Here comes our race leader, and as long as Gregor is defending that position, it's allowing Nicola Moller-Madsen to stretch his legs. It was 2.3 seconds last time. I think that gap is increasing with every corner. Daniel Gregor now driving defensively. Rodrigo Almeida trying to push the Porsche into a mistake. Up around turn 8 and turn 9 they come. This will be the opportunity for Rodrigo Almeida as they come up into 11 and 12. As they head into 12, it will be absolutely flat out. And then onto the pit straight. Pick up a slipstream and make that challenge into the best overtaking opportunity on the track. Here we go, out of 12, along the pit straight they run. Now, is Almeida close enough to challenge Daniel Gregor? Into turn 1 they come. In the background is Max Osten, ready to pounce if these two get together. Doesn't look like Almeida has the legs to be able to do anything about it into the corner on this occasion. There are cars that have pitted that are rejoining, of course, a lap down. Jan-Philipp Springer handing over to Simon Connor Prim after his pit stop. And the view of Rodrigo Almeida ahead, but of course a lap down. Every driver will need to make the stop, so the leading cars will need to come in. The front-running cars are all staying out at the moment. Rodrigo Almeida still challenging Daniel Gregor in the Porsche. Ahead of him for second place, Max Osten still there in the 4th place. Mex Janssen in the 34 car behind him, but the fight for the second place continues. Rodrigo Almeida. Now, will they decide to pit the number 8 car early and get Josef Knopp behind the wheel and maybe try and do the undercut on the Porsche in front? In the meantime, Nicola Moller-Madsen extends at the front. You can see how hard Gregor is trying. A bit of dust being kicked up into the air. That is Max Osten, who's peeled off into the pits. The second place fight continues to rage on with the pit window open for another 6 minutes or so. Here comes the second place battle. Here comes Max Osten. Great job from him. The number 54 car hitting the marks, hitting the speed limiter, and it'll be Mikael Makash who takes over. Also coming in the background is Mex Janssen getting ready to hand over to Nico Hanske. So the Project 1 BMW, a nice early garage there, comes to a stop. Out comes the co-driver. It is Mikael Makash from Czechoslovakia who comes and helps Max Osten, the Dutch driver, out of the car. There's no massive hurry. They've got that 95-second minimum pit stop time. Nicola Moller-Madsen continues on his way out front. I don't think we're going to see him for at least the next 5 minutes. Second place, Daniel Gregor, still holding off Rodrigo Almeida. And behind them is the lapped Simon Connor Prim car. But of course, once the pit stops are done, that number 85 car will be back up with the leaders. But he really wants to make hay while the sun shines. And at the moment, he's struggling to do that because Rodrigo Almeida is there in the way. He really wants a bit of open track so he can make up a bit of space. You can see the clock's ticking down on your graphic. The dark green P means that the driver has pitted. The dark grey means they are pitting now, and that's exactly what Daniel Gregor is doing, peeling off into the pits. It'll be Finn Zulauf who's on standby, ready to jump behind the wheel of the Avia WNS Motorsport Porsche. So here we go, hits the speed limiter now, and the clock is running. 95 seconds from pit entry to pit exit. Now, keeping to the speed limit. You do not want to go below that minimum pit stop time. Someone who has been caught speeding in the pits potentially is car 15. So Mo Ritson, who's come into the pits to hand over to Tom Wood, has been clocked as potentially speeding in the pit lane, and as now the verdict is in, it is a penalty lap for Tom Wood, and that is going to be for the car number 15 speeding in the pit lane. So that is bad news for them. That will be the equivalent to 5 seconds added onto their lap time. Daniel Gregor out of the car, Finn Zulauf in. Only 2 mechanics allowed to work on the car. So the outgoing pilot helps the incoming one to get buckled up and plugged in. Swap any notes, wish him good luck, and then slam the door. And it will be Finn Zulauf who will rejoin. At the moment, Nicola Moller-Madsen remains out on track, as does Rodrigo Almeida. In 3rd place, Alex Harmvig in the number 22 car. So there is a lively moment there for number 85 car. getting wild out of the corner, just picking up a bit of dirt. Simon Connor Prim clearly pushing as hard as he can. Now, into the pits comes Nicola Moller-Madsen. So fairly early by his standards, really. I thought he might stay out for another lap. Following him in, Rodrigo Almeida. Out of the pits comes Finn Zulaf. Now, this is his opportunity to put the hammer down and try and do the undercut on the number 6 Nicola Moller-Madsen car. But the gap that Nicola had when the 75 car came into the pit was a big gap. He's going to struggle to make that up. Nicola Moller-Madsen comes in now. Ivan Ekelchik is ready to take over the wheel of the number 6 Porsche. Here comes Ivan, helping Moller-Madsen out of the car. And Ivan jumping in. Nicola Moller-Madsen very much mentoring and tutoring Ivan Ekelchik as he learns the ropes in GT4 racing. Now, Rodrigo Almeida out of the car. Josef Knopp into the BWT Muka Motorsport Mercedes. Josef Knopp, who's had a long-standing relationship with BWT Muka. Great to have them back on the grid in the ADAC. So Almeida, who's done a fantastic job. He did the hard work in qualifying, and he's done the hard work in the race. Another penalty lap for speeding in the pit lane has been awarded to Tom Kiefer. He took over from Christian Koch and the number 26 Allied Racing Porsche. But keep an eye on Finn Zulaf. So the number 75 car, round turn 10 up to turn 11 at the moment. Where is he going to be when the car number 6 with Ivan Ekelchik emerges from the pits? Where will car 75 be? And also, where will Josef not be in car number 8? Well, you can see car 6 is rolling already out of the pit lane. Along the pit straight comes car 75, Finn Zulaf at the wheel, and it looks like car 6 is going to effectively, oh, look at that, 0.1 of a second. Ivan Ekelchik has gone below the minimum pit stop time. It's inevitable that he is going to pick up a penalty lap. This will be a gift for Finn Zulaf, because I reckon fairly shortly we're going to see Ivan Ekelchik taking a penalty lap, and he is going to lose what will be a lead position. Alex Hartvig into the pits now. He left it late into the window. There's scrapping going on up and down the pack. Car 35 with Enzo Juli at the wheel getting involved as well in the fight for 8th place. Nico Hanke there as well. Also getting stuck in, Mike David Ortman. Now the challenge, 85 on the outside, goes wide. The BMW fighting their way through. Nico Hanke looking there as well. Simon Connor Prim, we're on board with him. Car 85. So, Mike David Ortman trying to move back, and that is Leon Vasserthur. He took over from Tim Reiter, getting wide out of the corner, a load of dirt on the tyres, and that is opening the door. Janis Fischer, who's taken over from David Yarn in the number 31 car, and a penalty lap for Ivan Ekelchik, the car that would be effectively leading this race when the pit window closes, is going to lose that. Finn Zulaf is going to inherit the lead because car 6 is going to get a penalty lap. So, Dennis Bulatov in car number 4, he's taken over from Mark Di Fulgentio, but he's got a lot of work to do there, showing down in 12th place, so not a great stint for them. Right, have another look here, the fight for 6th place. Car 85, gap on the inside, through comes car 34, and a little bit of contact, and it's Nico Hanke who connects with Simon Connor Prim, and Simon Connor Prim losing the position. That is the penalty lap for Ivan Ekelchik. He loses the lead, he loses second, he loses third. So Finn Zulaf looking for his first win along with Daniel Gregor in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Through into the lead, Josef Knopp into second place. The fighting continues, and there's another replay of that little bit of rally cross that came from Leon Vasserthur. He did well to keep it together and rejoin the race without any damage. And there is Enzo Juli also getting a couple of wheels onto the dirt. That allows Mike David Ortman to sweep around and pick up a position. So Ortman up into 7th place. So he took on Hugo Sasser, but he had a moment himself. So Mike David Ortman also pushing hard. And you feel as though the tyres are really crying enough on these cars. There's a replay again of Simon Connor Prim with Enzo Juli there as well. Mike David Ortman. The fighting for every last point. Every point counts. Points Championship. So close here in the ADAC GT4 Germany. And even for the last few positions, the points are still being fought for. Nico Hanke in the number 34 car. Nathan Schaap in the 22 Allied Racing Porsche. Mike David Orman in the Pro Sport Aston Martin in 7th place. Behind them is Simon Conner-Prim, then Enzo Giuli and Janis Fichter now in 10th place, riding on board. Looking again at Nico Hanke, making that move on the inside, just holding it together. And it really does feel like it's life on the ragged edge for some of these cars. So, to summarise, after all that, lots of drama, it's Finn Zulauf currently who leads by 0.4 of a second from Josef Knopp, but Josef Knopp now has Mikael Makes in 3rd place, Ivan Ekelschik after the visit to the penalty box in 4th place and having to fight back, Nico Hanke in 5th place ahead of Nathan Schaap in the 22 car, Mike David Orman in 7th and Simon Conner-Prim in 8th. Pit window closed, everybody has done their pit stop, so as you see them on the track now is as they are post the pit stop. We still have 22.25 minutes remaining of this race, and car 31, Janis Fichter, has been shown the black and white flag for more than one change of direction, clearly struggling for traction there as we ride on board with Celia Martin in the number 13 Pro Sport Aston Martin down in 23rd place at the moment, as she took over from Fabian Volvent, and the last of the runners in this race with Yevgen Sokolovsky, who took over the number 48 car from Damon Sazishin, another of the Pro Sport Motor Racing Aston Martins. Pro Sport with 4 cars in the race, the other Raphael Renhofer in the number 19 car. We're looking at a replay here of Celia Martin, and there is the 30 car of Henrik Still finding a route through as well. So she lost a whole load of places to Celia Martin, getting out on the wide outside and surrendering a number of places. Right, a battle now. Mikael Makes making his move on Josef Knopp. Finn Zulauf has the lead at the moment, looking for the first win, along with Daniel Gregor in the ADAC GT4 Germany. But that is also the case for Josef Knopp and Rodrigo Almeida in the BWT Muka Motorsport Mercedes. Their best finish of the season so far has been an 8th place. Mikael Makes, another driver looking for a first win, along with Maxime Osten. Their best result so far was a 2nd place in the opening round of the season. So all of these drivers that you're looking at here looking for their first wins of the year, and some of them in GT4 Germany period. Now to the outside goes Mikael Makes. He finds the route past, relegates Josef Knopp down the position. So Josef Knopp down to 3rd, and it is now Makes up into 2nd place with 20 minutes remaining. What can he do about Finn Zulauf? So on board with Simon Conner-Prim in 8th place, Mike David Orman just ahead of him, and Nathan Schaap ahead of him. So Simon Conner-Prim in that 8th place, and into the penalty box goes Nathan Schaap, because he has received a penalty box visit for speeding in the pit lane to car 22, and that is such a shame. After such a strong run, was looking for his best result of the season and in GT4 Germany, but now surrendering paces and falling back to 11th place. And that is Janis Fichter who's caught up with him. So it is Porsche versus Porsche, but the number 31 car has been struggling for pace all along. The other of the Avia W&S cars, though, is leading the way. Finn Zulauf leads from Josef Knopp and Mikael Makes, or make that Mikael Makes and Josef Knopp, because Makes found the route through in the BMW. It is Porsche ahead of BMW, ahead of Mercedes, ahead of Porsche. Ivan Ekelschik in that 4th place, not really making inroads. Nico Hanke in the 5th place. Across the line come the rest of the cars. Mike David Orman doing well, just holding on. He's up to 6th place. Behind him, Simon Conner-Prim, one of his main championship rivals. Denis Bulatov, also one-time championship leader, very much in the championship hunt. He is in 8th place. and he's just keeping them in sight as well. Behind him, Enzo Juli and Leon Vassather rounding out the top 10. Gabriel Piana in 14th place is the leading trophy driver, and now Josef Knopp fighting back. This seems to have been the story with the PWT Muka Mercedes, getting past and then fighting for the position back again, this time for second place. And that's giving Finn Zulaf the opportunity just to open up a bit of a gap over the second place battle, as Mikael Makash has to drive defensively in the BMW. The tyres now getting very tired as a result of running in these hot temperatures, fighting in the traffic. And they've still got to last another 17 minutes plus, and plus 1 lap. Look at the scratches and the damage alongside the Josef Knopp car, where he's been in the walls. Out onto the pit straight we come once again. Here's the 1, 2, 3, running very much as one on the track. Finn Zulauf, Mikael Makash and Josef Knopp. You get the feeling this is not over yet. We've still got 17.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race. There is the defending champions looking to become the first ever driver duo to successfully defend their championship in ADAC GT4 Germany. Hugo Sassa and Mike David Ortman. Ortman at the wheel at the moment. Simon Connor Prim, who was very successful in GT Masters just a few weeks ago and has been a championship challenger and a championship leader at times in the number 85 car, along with Jan Philipp Springhoff. Very much in the championship hunt once again and fighting for position, but now defending from Denis Bulatov. Denis Bulatov, who has the new co-driver for this weekend and for the rest of the season. Mark Di Fulgentio's done a good job getting the car towards the front. Now Denis Bulatov trying to improve on that 8th place. That allows Mike David Ortman just to break free, because Simon Connor-Prim now having to defend hard. It is Mercedes versus Mercedes. Car 85 with the extra 5 kilos of success ballast. Now, is that making the difference? Who knows? Here comes the race leader. Finn Zulaf is not looking comfortable, is it? Because Mikael Makash now has a look on the outside, coming out of turn 12. Along the pit straight they come. He moves to the outside. Can he do anything into turn 1? It's going to be the last of the late breakers into there if he does. Is he going to duck back to the inside? No. He tucks back behind the Porsche in front. But is that a signal of intent? He knows, Mikael Makash, that if he makes that move on Finn Zulav and he doesn't make it stick, Josef Knopp is there and poised and ready to jump if he sees any opportunity at all. Ivan Ekochik has dropped back 3.2 seconds back from this battle. So the 1, 2, 3 running together, but it could go anyway. We're reaching the 3/4 distance of this race. Finn Zulav taking a wider line through the corner. Makash looks to have more grip in the BMW. Josef Knopp potentially the quickest of all of them. Josef Knopp's co-driver, Rodrigo Almeida, still holds the record for the fastest lap in this race, but that was way back on lap 8. We're on lap 27 at the moment. So that BWT Muka Mercedes has an awful lot of pace in it. Then we see Ivan Ekochik, then Nico Hanke running on his own, and then Mike David Ortman. This is Tano Neumann to go from Joachim Bolting. And testing the suspension, they build him strong at Porsche, and there is your living proof. He survives and keeps it going. And that is the view from Simon Connor-Prim as he sees Denis Bulatov coming through, but that car is stranded. So Tano Neumann at the side of the track. Now this could bring out a safety car, because clearly that car is going no further. So that little off-road excursion has damaged the car. He's come to a stop. Now, if the safety car comes out, this will close this field up. Now the car, well, it may be that our race director decides that it is safe there. The pilot is out of the car. Here comes our race leader, Finn Zulav, Mikael Makash, Josef Knopp, Ivan Ekochik, and Nico Hanke, Mike David Ortman, Denis Bulatov, who did get past Simon Connor-Prim. So Bulatov up into 7th place. But the fight for the lead continues. The fight for second place continues. Mikael Makash, having been challenging Finn Zulav, once again defending from Josef Knopp. The yellow remains in turn 4 for the stranded number 9 car. So it doesn't look as though the safety car is going to come out. at the moment. So the cars are able to continue as they were, and that will be a relief to the top three, because even Ekelchik in the very rapid Porsche in 4th place is now 4.081 seconds back from them. And then behind him is Nico Hanke, and he is some 4.6 seconds back from Ekelchik. So the closest battle is the battle for the podium. 1, 2, 3. What order will they be in? Out of turn 12, they come again. Still, Finn Zulauf leading the way. Cross the line they come, and it is Mikael Makesh looking for his first win. Josef Knopp in 3rd place. Finn Zulauf putting the car where he needs to, looking for his first win this year. He won last year at Hockenheim, so of the drivers in the top 3, of the 6 drivers in the top 3, he's the only one who has experienced victory, but not this year. Finn Zulauf continues to defend that position. Mikael Makesh continues to challenge to the inside. You see him locking up a brake, almost pushing the Porsche. He looks to the inside. Josef Knopp looks to bounce as well. Finn Zulauf running out of grip. They head around turn 7. So it's turn 6, which is the other good overtaking opportunity. And Mikael Makesh knows that. Josef Knopp, he is poised and ready for action. That's just a little sighter into the corner. I don't think Makesh is going to make it stick there, but Finn Zulauf now having to defend hard from the number 54 car. Fairly audacious from Makesh, but that just leaves him vulnerable to Josef Knopp. Out they come, through into turn 11. Now, surely we're going to see some challenges here. Out of turn 12 they come. The 1, 2, 3 running together. This is going to be exciting. Into turn 1. It is Finn Zulauf who leads the way. Mikael Makesh lining him up. He looks to the outside. It's a drag race towards turn 1. Heavy braking. Zulauf has the line into the corner. Makesh trying to go the long way round onto the dirt. Brilliant stuff. Makesh through into the lead. Finn Zulauf down into 2nd place. Now into the clutches of Josef Knopp. Brilliant stuff from Mikael Makesh, number 54, into the lead. And already he's put a gap between himself and the number 75 car. Daniel Gregor looking to be denied his first ever win in ADAC GT4 Germany. But Mikael Makesh in the number 54 car, look at that, round the outside. A brave move, 2 wheels onto the dirt, makes it stick, and around he goes. Josef Knopp very, very nearly did it as well. But it is car 54 that leads the way here in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Mikael Makesh along with Maxime Osten in the Project 1 BMW. The Project 1 crew who trained the drivers well, and that was what it looked like from Finn Zulauf's perspective as the BMW went sailing past. Great racing in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Safety car is now out. So the race director waiting, and now the cars are going to be brought back to a single file, slow pace to get the number 9 car removed from the circuit. Tano Neumann was at the wheel of the Overdrive Racing Porsche. So both Overdrive Racing Porsches not finishing this race. We've lost Stefan Bastanciev and Pavel Lefterov on lap 2 of the race. And we've lost Joachim Bolting and Tano Neumann. That was 4 laps ago. So safety car is out. The cars are brought down to a much reduced speed, and of course, single file, strictly no overtaking. Now, Mike David Ortman is going to see this as something of a gift as we look again at the number 9 car going wide. And it looked like it escaped undamaged, but oh, you can see it was a flat tyre. So the right rear deflated. Unfortunately, Neumann clearly didn't feel as though he could get it back to the pits without doing more damage to that car. So he retires it. Unfortunately, he's in a position that the safety car has to come out. So with less than 10 minutes remaining, as we see how hard they're having to work, Tano Neumann, it is boiling hot in the cars, 50, 60 degrees centigrade in the cars in this hot sunshine here at the Lausitzring. Safety car is out. Our leader, Michael Makesh, looking pretty solid. Finn Zulav and Josef Knob. Ivan Ekelschik, well, he's not as experienced as his co-pilot, Nicola Moller-Madsen, but may fancy a punt at the podium. Nico Hanke, you discount him at your peril, who, along with Mex Janssen, has got the Volkenhorst Motorsport BMW up into 5th place. Mike David Ortman, do not discount him. He's at 6th place at the moment. He was distinctly grumpy about the BOP that had been awarded to the Aston Martins here this weekend. Felt as though they were perhaps carrying a little bit too much of a penalty. Of course, he's got that 15 kilos success ballast as well, which surely is hindering him. But he will fancy his chances to move forward from his 6th place. And it's consistent point scoring is what he needs to win the championship in the #1 Aston Martin. Of course, Denis Bulatov is loitering in the background, and Bulatov has already proven that he is an absolute fighter, and he will be ready to jump if there's any gap at all, as is the case with Simon Connor Prim, who is behind them in 8th place in the number 85 car. So to remind you of the championship positions coming into this race, Hugo Sasser, Mike David Ortman leading Simon Connor Prim and Jan-Philipp Springer by 9 points, and they're running very close together on the track. Denis Bulatov and Marcel Lenez, of course, Lenez, who's not racing for the rest of the season, but Bulatov is just 11 points in 3rd place, 11 points adrift. And then David Jan and Janis Fischer, 24 points adrift of the lead in the championship behind them. So points are really important. Non-finishers are going to really hurt. And we saw that with Mike David Ortman as we ride on board with Celia Martin in the Pro Sport Racing Aston Martin. We saw with Mike David Ortman in the opening race at Oschersleben, and he won't thank me for constantly reminding you of this, but he didn't complete 1 lap, recorded a DNF. Had it not been for that, surely his and Hugo Sasser's championship lead would have been even greater than what it is now. But they need to just keep picking up the points, because DNFs really, really hurt when you're fighting for a championship. So safety car is out. The clock continues ticking. So the car now is being removed from the circuit. The Tano Neumann number 9 Overdrive Racing Porsche now to safety. So would expect notification fairly shortly of safety car in. We're just coming round to complete the next lap. So I would expect next time around the cars will be under green flag conditions with a little over 5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. What can Michael Makesh do? The driver who, along with Maxime Osten, have been so impressive, have had a difficult couple of races in the last few rounds, but started so strongly in the GT4 Germany series. Now, the potential of a win, a first ever win in ADAC GT4 Germany, and they can almost touch it from where they're at, but they've got 5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race. It's all to play for. Hold on to your hats. Safety car is in on this lap. It is a dash for the cash. 5 minutes of intense action. Michael Makesh defending from Finn Zulav. He will be man on a mission. Josef Knob in that very rapid BWT Motorsport Mercedes. Also, Ivan Ekelschik, Nico Hanke, Mike David Ortman, Denis Bulatov, Simon Connor Prim. It's like a who's who of GT4 2023, all lined up, looking for those top positions. It's not all over yet. Now, Michael Makesh, it's his decision when to go. He's going to drop back. He mustn't overtake the safety car. That's a big no-no. So the safety car now disappears off into the pit lane. Michael Makesh will be weaving, and then it's his decision when to hit the accelerator. We'll expect that somewhere around turn 11, because then he can keep it flat up into 12, and then hopefully get a good run in towards turn 1. Here he goes, foot to the floor. Finn Zulav has anticipated well. He looks to the inside. Out of turn 12 they come, along past the pits. It is Michael Makesh, who leads the way. Finn Zulaf. Now Makesh trying to generate heat into the tyres. Maybe a bit of defence as well, but look at this in the background. Even Ekelshik. We said that Porsche was quick, challenging Josef Knopp further back. Other challenges for positions going into turn 1, but our interest is in the top places. Keep it on Mike David Ortman, because Josef Knopp is going backwards. He got hung out to dry. So Josef Knopp, after such a strong showing, along with Rodrigo Almeida, is relegated further down the positions. It is Michael Makesh who leads the way. Finn Zulaf challenging. Then a gap back to Ivan Ekelchik. He's back into a podium position. Then Nico Hanke, Mike David Orban up into 5th place. He's not done yet. A little over 3 minutes of this race remaining. So great stuff in Ivan Ekelchik. He's getting quicker and quicker with every race. But look at this fight for the lead. Michael Makesh, Finn Zulaf, then a gap back to Ivan Ekelchik. Nico Hanke challenging hard. He has his eyes on a podium position. Mike David Orman's not done yet either. He is just behind them. There is Mike David Orman in the number 1 car. Josef Knopp relegated back, but trying to fight forward to the last 3 minutes. Someone has gone through the dirt. You can see it rising up into the air. Looks like everybody survived. There is Ivan Ekelchik, the last of the podium positions, now coming under pressure from Nico Hanke. Black and white flag to car 54 for more than one change of direction. So our race leader, we saw him weaving. Michael Makesh has had a warning from the race steward. He can't do that again. Now along the pit straight they come, on board with Nico Hanke. This is for 3rd place. He goes to the inside of Ivan Ekelchik, under braking into turn 1. He steals it away. The BMW is through. Mike David Orman just behind as well. Josef Knopp there. Dennis Bulatov challenging, but also losing positions. Leon Vassiter has squeezed his way through in the BMW. A lot of scrapping going on further back. Looked like a bit of contact there. I think Simon Conoprim might have been the victim of something. Looks like everyone has survived. This is for 3rd place. And through is Nico Hanke into that 3rd place. Less than 2 minutes remaining. On board with Simon Conoprim. He is down in 10th place at the moment. And looking at a big queue of cars in front of him, he's thinking maybe I can find a route past Enzo Giuli in the number 35 BMW. He's got his work cut out. 90 seconds plus 1 lap remaining of this race. And it's still Michael Makesh who leads the way from Finn Zulaf, but the fight for 3rd place rages on as well. None of the 1, 2, 3 positions are set in stone. Finn Zulaf is fighting back on Michael Makesh. It is Porsche versus BMW, the big snake of cars. That's Mike David Orman challenging as well further back. Finn Zulaf through on the inside. This is for the lead. A little over a minute plus 1 lap remaining. This is for the lead. 2 cars side by side in towards turn 1. Who's it gonna be? Finn Zulaf under braking, retakes the lead. Michael Makesh fighting back into the dirt. A bit of dirt cuts into the air, but Finn Zulaf retakes the lead with less than a minute plus 1 lap remaining. Now Michael Makesh is going to try and fight back. He could see his first ever win slipping away. What can he do about the Porsche? He has passed it once before. He could do it again. In the background, Nico Hanke now looking solid in that 3rd place. Around we go, 20 seconds of timed racing, so it's going to be a lap and a half left for Finn Zulaf to get past Michael Makesh to get past Finn Zulaf. So this is a replay from the perspective of Finn Zulaf. You can see him closing in on the BMW, big gap on the inside. Great perspective there. What a great camera angle. He's looking pretty relaxed about it. He glances over to the right-hand side, looks in the mirror, and then that brave run down to turn 1. Who can brake latest? You can see him throwing his hand up into the air. He's going, this is my position. Don't even think about it. Under braking. And that was where the position was stolen away. The leaders are now coming round turn 12. We are getting ready to start the last lap of racing for the ADAC GT4 Germany here at the Lausitzring. It is the final lap, and it's Finn Zulaf who has retaken the lead as they cross the line. Michael Makesh Nico Hanke, great drive from Mike David Orman. He'll be pleased with that, up to 4th place. Even Ekelchik down to 5th. Josef Knopp, such a disappointment, down into 6th place now after such a strong drive. Still fighting further back. That's an Allied Racing Porsche. So that'll be the number 22, Nathan Schaap. And I was told to watch out for him. He is someone very, very quick. Hendrick's still in there as well. Also Tom Wood getting stuck in the BMW. But the final lap of racing, the leaders out towards turn 6 now for the very, very last time. Finn Zulauf leading the way. Mikael Makesh doesn't look like he's got anything he can do to retake the top step of the podium. The 1, 2, 3 continuing on their way. Finn Zulauf leading now. Mikael Makesh, it looks as though he's run out of ideas to get past and into the lead. Zulauf into the final few corners, up towards turn 9 he comes, and then it is turn 10, the sharp right-hander, and then out towards turn 11, and then it'll be flat out around turn 12, and it is going to be a win for car number 75. Finn Zulauf out of turn 12 he comes. He sees the checkered flag for Avia WNS Motorsport. It's Finn Zulauf, and Daniel Gregor takes his first ever win in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Car 30 received a warning for pushing another car, but nobody's worried about that. Look at this, what a great camera angle as well. Finn Zulauf taking the win here at the Lausitzring. What a fantastic race, what a fantastic drive. He's had one win before. He's had a couple of third places prior to this year, but Finn Zulauf winning for the first time in 2023. Daniel Gregor winning for the first time ever in the ADAC GT4. And there, parked up at the side of the track, Hendrick still, after all that hard work, smoke coming from the car. There's been a lot of damage. There is Max Osten in the pit lane, along with Mikael Makesh. You can see the celebrations, but they will be slightly disappointed because they led so much of this race. It looked like they were going to take the top step, but they came back in the number 75 car, and it was Finn Zulauf and Daniel Gregor who took the win. What an absolutely epic battle from these young drivers. Mike David Orman and Hugo Sassa, the dream team, continue on their way. Our championship leaders are picking up a really good points haul to come home in 4th place. So that will be 13 points onto their tally. And that will be very useful when it's all said and done, because Simon Konoprim and Jan Philipp Springob are finishing a lot further back in 8th place. There we go, 38 laps completed. Daniel Gregor, Finn Zulauf ahead of Max Osten, Mikael Makesh, Max Jansen and Nico Hanke rounding out the top 3. Hugo Sassa, Mike David Orman, great stuff in 4th. Nicola Moller-Madsen, even Ekelchik in 5th. Martin Fugentio and Dennis Bulatov in 6th. Josef Knopp and Rodrigo Almeida in 7th, ahead of Simon Konoprim in the 85 car with Jan Philipp Springob. In 9th place was Enzo Juli with Sami Matti Trogan. And in 10th place, Gabriel Piana, who had a fairly quiet race, but came back through to be the leading trophy driver in the number 2 Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport BMW, along with Marat Kairov. Great to have them finishing at the top step of the podium in the trophy category. There are the rest of the positions scrolling through. What a great race from the ADAC GT4 Germany. So in the sunshine, there's Daniel Gregor, and you can see how much this means, along with Finn Zulauf. So Daniel Gregor has been coming up under the radar. We should have known there were going to be trouble. They got a 3rd place at Zandvoort, they got a 2nd place at Nürburgring, and suddenly the top step of the podium is theirs, and you get the feeling this is going to be the first of many wins. And great stuff there. Mikael Makesh and Max Osten celebrating as well. There's the points championship. So Hugo Sassa, Mike David Orman, despite what was a challenging day, open up a 14-gap lead over Simon Konoprim and Jan Philipp Springob. Dennis Bulatov not too far behind as well. So great stuff there, Finn Zulauf.
Yes!
And celebrations for that second place. Mikkel Makesh, along with the team from Project One. Hans Bergkamp, the boss at Project One, giving his congratulations as well. Possibly thinking about what might have been, having led the race, but clearly jubilant with that. And the third place, Max Janssen and Nico Hanke for Volkenhorst Motorsport. Such a strong team. They know how to prepare a car. And you can see how hot it is for these drivers. Boiling hot in the cars. Track temperature currently 43.4 degrees. Air temperature 32. Inside the car 50, even 60 degrees centigrade, I'm told. And drivers losing an awful lot of fluid. It's so hot. Brilliant stuff. A real workout of these drivers, keeping it together, looking after the tyres and looking after themselves, keeping the concentration and bringing it home and fighting for the lead. It was Max Janssen and Nico Hanke for Volkenhorst Motorsport who came home in third place in that BMW. It was another BMW in second place, this time for Project One, and this time with Mikkel Makesh and Max Osten at the wheel. But it was Porsche leading the way. The number 75 Avia WNS Motorsport Porsche 718 Cayman with Daniel Gregor and Finn Zulauf at the wheel, taking the top step of the podium. Finn Zulauf's second ever win in ADAC GT4 Germany, his first of this year. And Daniel Gregor's first ever win in this series, and certainly won't be his last. But great to see the celebrations for second place as well. Mikkel Makesh and Max Osten have been such a potent combination. They got a 10th place in their first race of the year. Then they got a podium, a second place at Oschersleben. Then a run of a lot of bad luck, a non-finish, and then out of the points for the next 3 races. But now back with style. We knew they were always going to be strong, and they've proven that to be the case in this, some of the most challenging conditions to race in this boiling hot weather. And now we look to the podium. Our race winners, the 1, 2, 3. Third place, Nico Hanke and Max Janssen, Max Osten and Mikkel Makesh, the Czech driver and the Dutch driver. But taking the top step, the 2 German drivers, Finn Zulauf and Daniel Gregor, both fighting in the Junior Championship. And now, onto the podium. It's time for the national anthem. Oh, we're going to get a team presentation first. No, national anthem. So in the boiling hot sunshine in front of a massive crowd of people here at the Lausitzring. Trophies to be presented to the 6 drivers on the podium, and a trophy for the team as well. Our announcer, Toby Shimon, to the left of your screens, a celebrity in his own right. Doing lots of shouting, man after my own heart. Bernd Barrick, the chairman of Sports ADAC Berlin, presenting the winners' trophies. Lovely trophies they are too. From Pirelli, Mikael Blaufus presenting to the second place drivers. Don't throw up in the air, they look fragile. And Heinz-Peter Freiberg, chairman of Club Services ADAC Berlin-Brandenburg, presenting the third place trophy. So the good news is these 6 drivers filled out the podium. There's a trophy for Avia WNS as well. The bad news for them is they're going to have to carry some success ballast tomorrow. It'll be Finn Zulaf and Daniel Gregor will have 15 kilos on board. It'll be Mikkel Makesh and Max Osten will have an extra 10 kilos on board. And Nico Hanke and Max Janssen will have an extra 5 kilos on board. It won't be for qualifying, but it will be for the race. Qualifying is tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock local time, and the race will be tomorrow afternoon at 3:15 local time. We'll be on air from about 3:10. It's gonna be exciting, I bet you. It's a very different story. I think our championship leaders, Mike David Orman and Hugo Sasser, will be very eager because they will have lost their success ballast that they've been carrying today. And they will be challenging somewhere near the front. Have no doubt about that. But there are many, many other drivers all champing at the bit, ready to challenge in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Part 2 of the season is well underway. That was race 7. Join us for race 8 tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.